Okay, Mayor, the meeting is yours.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Good evening, folks. Certainly good to see all of you. I want to welcome you to the Vinton Town Council meeting for this Tuesday, February 15th, 2022. And as always, we'll start by calling the roll.
Councilmember Lyles.
Here.
Councilmember Mullins. Here. Councilmember Stovall.
Here.
Vice Mayor McCarty.
Here.
Mayor Gross.
Here. Thank you, ma'am. We do have a quorum, of course. As always, we will observe the moment of silence. I'll ask you to stand for that in just a moment. This gives everyone an opportunity to pray or meditate as they see fit. And while we're standing, we'll have the pledge to the flag, and Councilmember Lyles usually handles that unless you've suckered someone else in.
I was just trying to do that, and I'd rather not put them on the spot like that, because I was so excited that Dan O'Donnell and everybody was here tonight. I forgot to ask anybody to do it, so I'll do it myself.
Right. I can understand the excitement. So, so I'll ask you folks to stand for those items, please.
Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, as I mentioned, good to see all of you. I think everyone here understands how we conduct our meetings, but there is always a set of guidelines available at the entrance door for anyone that visits us during the council meeting. All right, upcoming events and announcements. That would be our Vice Mayor.
I have some too. I'm excited.
All right.
February the 17th, the Vinton Chamber is hosting an after hours at Rosie's from 5 until 7. That is this Thursday. Today's Tuesday, so it's this Thursday from 5 to 7. And inviting everybody to come out and look at all of the expansions that they've done and just mingle with other chamber members. And of course, bring anybody, any perspectives that may want to join our chamber. February the 18th, Rosie's presents live music with Chemistry at 8 p.m. On the 19th, they have Pete Turpin. And then on February 21st is President's Day, and the town office will be closed. Twin Creeks, I just wanted to let you guys know that Twin Creeks still offers the bingo every Wednesday night at 6:30 and trivia every Thursday night at 6:30. I haven't been able to go to that, but I understand that everybody that goes has a really good time. So that might be something you want to consider. The State of the Town address is on March the 10th at 7:30 a.m. at the War Memorial. They are asking that you RSVP by March the 3rd, and you can do that by either calling the chamber office or emailing Angie@VintonChamber.com. There is a charge. There's a $20 non-member charge and a $15 member charge. And since we are talking about food, I just wanted to add another little plug. If you are on Facebook, if you can go in and like our restaurants that are on there, you will often see the specials that they have. So you won't miss out on some good victuals in Vinton. And tonight is a very special and happy and sad night, so most of the town council members are wearing black in mourning of this being Ann's last town council meeting with us.
One more.
Thank you, Vice.
Let you know why we were wearing black.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, and I forgot all about it. I apologize. So. Yeah, we recognize folks in different ways, don't we? Okay, thank you, Vice Mayor. Anyone else have any announcements? Nope. Okay. With that, we will move on. Next item is request to postpone or change the order of the agenda. Any changes, staff or council? Okay. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda, which tonight has just two items, the minutes of the regular meeting of February 1st, 2022, and also a resolution that transfers some funds for a stormwater project. Are there any changes or additions? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Mullins, a second by Councilmember Stovall. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. All right. And now, as always, I'll mention this is my favorite part of the meeting. This is where we get to recognize some folks. We have a very special guest with us tonight, and proclamation that recognizes Dan's retirement from Roanoke County. And if you don't mind, let me read the proclamation first, and I'll get you to come up and we'll give this to you. Whereas Daniel R. O'Donnell retired as the County Administrator of Roanoke County on February 1st, 2022, after 21 years and 8 months of distinguished service to the citizens of Roanoke County and the town of Vinton. And whereas Mr. O'Donnell has been a consummate professional and leader, adhering to the highest levels of integrity and ethics in the local government management profession. And whereas during his tenure as county administrator, Mr. O'Donnell recognized and encouraged strong regional partnerships through projects and services which helped to create a positive environment for economic development efforts for Roanoke County, and was instrumental in many of the partnerships with the town of Vinton, improving the quality of life for the citizens he served. And whereas these initiatives included the Memorandum of Understanding to replace the gain sharing agreement, the Vineyard Station and Gish Mill redevelopment projects, the Vinton East County Hotel project, and the transfer of the town's utility system to Western Virginia Water Authority. Now therefore, I, Brad Gross, Mayor of the town of Vinton, and on behalf of Town Council and all of our citizens, do hereby express our sincere appreciation and thanks to Mr. Dan O'Donnell for his distinguished and outstanding commitment to public service, and especially for his service to Roanoke County and the Vinton community, and extend best wishes to him and his family for many happy and successful years in the future. And may I add, too, just on a personal note, I've really enjoyed working with Dan. I've always been very impressed by his intellect and his intelligence, but and obviously his honesty. But probably the most important thing is I appreciated the way he's always been able to work with everybody for the good of our citizens, and just been a perfect guy for the job he's been doing. Council, did you have any further remarks? No. If not, Dan, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll just say, I haven't known Dan that long, but he always was there if the town needed anything. He looked after the Roanoke County and the town. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy to see him enjoying his retirement. A lot of people don't enjoy their retirement, but just the list of things that he's already doing, and he's only been done there for 13 days. So
a lot of them invented too.
Yes.
Let me
stay on that ice.
I'm sorry. I'd just like to add to that. I was talking to somebody that we know today, and they knew you were coming to the meeting, and I was talking about the years that I'd known you, and I guess the one word I could describe you as is steady. I love to fish, and I was telling them this story. When you hang a marlin, you holler up to the captain because he knows that he needs to know the marlin's on, and you holler, hold it steady, and you hold it steady for two reasons. If the boat slows down, hook can come out of his mouth, speeds the boat up, and snap the line. But of all the years, I've never, losing your cool, getting upset, whatever, I think Roanoke County prospered well because of you being steady and you managing it at a steady pace. So congratulations. I'm glad I know you, glad I've known you, glad we did a lot together in Roanoke County, and good luck, and whatever you're going to do, I hope it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And I do have a copy of the proclamation.
He gonna break a camera, he's gonna break his own.
You shake your hand there, right? Dan, thank you a lot. I might add one other thing, you know, Dan and I have something in common.
Really bad sports at a college level.
Are both WVU fans. We went to WVU. He went as a student and graduated. I went to the football game. You did much better. Thank you, Danny.
Sure,
That's it,
yeah.
Dan?
Once again, I am just humbled and grateful for this proclamation and recognition. I've always loved working on projects in the town of Vinton. I think you're extremely fortunate to have Pete Peters as your town manager. He's doing a great job. He's the economic development town manager, as you know, and I cut my teeth in the late 1980s as Baltimore County's commercial revitalization coordinator, and we couldn't do things in big Baltimore County that you're accomplishing here, so it's really amazing what's going on in the town of Vinton. And I think the county's philosophy has always been, even when Mr. Hodge, who hired me, was here, was we need to make sure that we can help our mature communities stay viable and economically successful, and I think that's a great thing that we've been able to do that together as a partnership. Mr. Mayor, your leadership's been fantastic. I have known Mr. Stovall for a long time in about 3 different capacities, and so you got great folks here and very successful town, and I just wish you all the best in the future. And Mr. Kaywood's here.
Yes.
The county is in very good hands. I worked with Richard for 9 years as assistant, 6 as assistant, and then 3 as actually his boss, I guess. But I never thought of it that way. And he's excellent, so I think you're going to have a good future working with the county. And I'm really happy to see what's going on with the water system and the utility system.
Yeah.
And Pete did most of that. Thanks.
Pete has done well, and you have done well yourself. Anyone else? All right. Again, Dan, thank you. We look forward.
I have a hockey game.
I understand. Okay, next item we have is a presentation by Mr. Ken Fay. There he is. And of course, Ken's the Roanoke County Real Estate Valuation Director. And by the way, I appreciate that name, valuation, instead of evaluation. So we value our property.
Yeah, valuation places a value on something, evaluation rates
absolutely.
something.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's definitely some confusion there.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Mayor and members of the council, thank you for having me here tonight to present our 2022 reassessment. I want to say Dan left, but if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here tonight, as he was the one that promoted me to this position. I can't believe it's been 3 years already, but I wish him well in retirement as well.
They're clicking. There we go.
Okay. There we go. Okay, for the 2022 Town of Vinton real estate assessment, we break down the changes in value by 2 different categories, residential and commercial. We have the 2021 value, with the new 2022 value. The change in assessed value for the residential properties was $42,025,600, and for the commercial, $3,558,800. Our overall increase in the market was 8.55%. At the bottom of the slide here, we show what the assessment increase is attributed to, with about 0.5% new construction, and majority of the increase in the market was based on market value at 89.4% increase. Our next slide here is a measure our assessment accuracy. The IAAO, which is the International Association of Assessing Officers, is kind of the oversight for the assessment community. They set certain parameters for our statistical measures to fall within. These three are the ones that we look at the most. There are a lot of other numbers that we look at as well. With the sales ratio being simply the ratio assessment of the assessment value to sale price. The IAAO standards is 91 to 105. This year we're at 91%. It's certainly been a challenge to keep it above 90%. With each sale, with the number of sales we've had in the market that we've had, it's hard to reassess a whole neighborhood every time you have a sale. So it's been a challenge to keep that value assessment ratio within that standard. The second measure is a coefficient of dispersion that simply measures the accuracy of our numbers. The tighter the number clustered around the median is what we're aiming for. Lower the COD, the greater uniformity. 5 to 15% is a standard, and we're at 7.31. The price-related differential measures equity between low and high-value properties with range 0.98 to 1.03, and we're at 1.004, which is not perfect, but pretty close. And it's interesting that these numbers here are pulled out for Benton, and they're almost identical for the county. So some of these slides will have a comparison between the numbers, but they were all close. I think the coefficient of dispersion was 7.37, and the ratio was 91.5, so very close. In this slide here, we show the assessment percentage change by classification. We have the single-family urban, 10.44% increase. The single-family suburban, 9.24%. 7.89% in our multifamilies, and 3.29% increase in our commercial properties. One thing I do want to mention, when we talk about an 8.55% overall market increase, or when we're talking about 10.4 or 9.24 percentage increase, that's an average for the whole town of Vinton. There are certainly some neighborhoods that have exceeded double-digit increases, and the average includes land. Land doesn't usually increase as well as improved properties. Improved meaning having a house on it. So there are certainly some neighborhoods in the town of Vinton that had well into the double-digit increases. This slide is the median sale price. The median sale price is a number that's right in the middle. Same amount of value above as below. This shows the median sales through the last 10 years. This is a Roanoke County slide with 2021 at $255,000, increase from $240,000 last year. For the town of Vinton, certainly showing some increases in the last few years, and this year the median is at $185,000.
Can I ask a question on that slide, or are you going to take questions at the end?
Sure.
Is there certain square footage for that median on it? For example, the town. I mean, is there, when you do the median? I mean, is there like, or is it just take all the houses that are sold, put them together, divide, and that's how you do it?
Yeah, we didn't group it by
Got it.
by
Got it.
sales, but I could certainly.
Okay, got it. Well, thank you.
Yeah, this is solely sale price.
Sale price, got it. Okay, thank you.
Here we see the history of the sales. This is a number of sales that occurred. These are arm's length transactions, arm's length transaction being a typical market sale. The number of sales this year were 1,706 qualified sales. There were a lot of transactions, well over 2,500 transactions. The qualified ones are in this slide. Other transactions could be family members, disqualified sales for any kind of distress sale. These here are what we consider market sales. And the good news, you can see the number of foreclosures have decreased over the years. Now with the forbearance programs and so forth that the government has put on, we're seeing certainly the lowest number. This is the county slide. Here we have the town of Vinton, and we had no foreclosed sales reported this year. This is in the residential sector. So there are 126 market sales and 0 foreclosures. For our 2022 assessment hearing dates, we mailed out the notices December 31st. The informal appeals were held through January 18th through the 26th. There was a total of 256 calls. Last year we had 212, so there wasn't much of an increase in the number of informal appeals versus the amount of increase. So I think most of the public are familiar with the market and conditions that we have right now. So our formal appeals with the Board of Equalization will be April 28th, July 28th, and October 27th of this year, with our final to apply for an appeal is September 9th. We just always like to, when we're out in the public, to remind of the programs, different programs we have. We have a disabled veterans property tax exemption program, and we urge anyone interested to call the Commissioner of Revenue's office at 776-7116. There's also the tax freeze program for the elderly and the disabled. So there's some criteria that must be met. It's best to call the office and speak to a member there at the Commissioner of Revenue. And that's it. Any questions or comments?
Council, any questions?
Yes, sir, I'm good.
Well, thank you, Ken. Always good to see you. We appreciate you coming over for the report.
Seems like we'll see you tomorrow. It's like every time you turn around,
Yeah.
it's that time again.
Yeah, it seems that way. That's true, but we're always glad to see you. So, all right. With that, we'll move on to the next item, which is the citizens' comments or petitions. I don't see anyone, and I don't see anything listed for you, Mr. Attorney, but I know you guys stay busy. We appreciate your help. Thank you. Always looking good there, I might comment. Yeah, I know, but you still look spiffy though, man. You're all right. And with that, we'll move over to the town manager.
Good evening, Mayor Gross, members of council. I have 2 items for you this evening, one being a briefing and one requiring action. The first item for a briefing, I believe I have had a chance to speak with each of you individually regarding this opportunity. This is property located at 7 Walnut Avenue, which is right directly behind the farmers market stage. This is the McClung property. Most of you may recall most recently it was used for Sinbar Roofing as an office and a laydown yard for materials. Upon Sinbar relocating to another permanent quarters, the town engaged with Mr. McClung about the potential interest in him leasing his parking area for development of public parking infrastructure for the town to support our downtown events and businesses. through the assistance of our town attorney, we developed a lease agreement. We have went through a couple revisions, so I feel like we're fairly substantially along on mutual terms that benefit us both. In general, the town would enter into a 10-year lease agreement for the property that we would then improve for the purpose of public parking. There would be a first right of refusal on the property should eventually one day the owner be in a position or be willing to sell, so that we can protect our investment in public parking. We have put in parameters within the lease agreement to identify how we would determine the cost once the option was to be enacted, and all the other particulars as far as liability insurance and responsibilities of the two parties. So I feel like we have a really good, mutual beneficial arrangement scheduled with the family. I've met both with the current owner as well as one of his eventual heirs. And so they are eager to work with the town. They love the concept. They love the idea. We have worked with David Hill and Hill Studio to develop some conceptual designs of what the parking could look like. We will be conducting some more detailed construction drawings of the parking and doing some cost estimating. And then we'll hopefully be able to fund that through our upcoming year CIP. Trying to think if there's any other additional details. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. We have petitioned a certain dollar amount to lease on a monthly basis. Waiting to hear back the confirmation on that, if that's sufficient for the tenant, but I think we're in the ballpark. So again, I'll be happy to answer any questions, and I'll come back. Hopefully we'll have a final agreement in place and we'll be able to take action on this at the next council meeting. If not, it potentially could linger over into March or even April, but I think it'll move fairly quickly. I think we're really close.
Okay, great. Well, council, any questions, comments?
I think it's a great idea. I mean, I think it's perfect for, especially right where it's located and right there on the outskirts of our downtown, and what we're getting ready to do with Walnut Avenue. It just makes perfect sense.
It really does, particularly with all the increased activity downtown. The additional parking will be valuable, so it makes a lot of sense.
We anticipate somewhere upwards of 80 to 100 parking spaces. Looks like we can accommodate. For comparison, I believe we have 84 parking spaces at Vineyard Station, so it'll be somewhere in that that capacity, if not more. So that's a fairly good number of parking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
One fell swoop.
Great job.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right. If no additional questions, the next item is an item seeking action on this evening in the form of a resolution. This is an MOU that we are entertaining with Roanoke County to update the existing MOU that replaced the gain sharing, if that's not confusing enough.
Yeah.
So again, as you said, Mr. Mayor, our attorney is earning.
Yeah.
These are sometimes complicated. The county actually took action on this just last week, and both Mayor Gross and Council Member Stovall attended. So this is revising that MOU, and it essentially captures the items that we have met our obligations on the MOU. The three primary amendments to it is it provides a mutually appointed member of the West Virginia Water Authority Board of Directors. So it's something that Town Council and both the county will mutually agree upon that appointment. The other aspect is that as far as our utility transfer, it provides the county providing full tipping fees for our refuse disposal, and that is a value of about $115,000 annually for the town, in addition to the $110,000 they already provide to us. That will be true up at the end of each year, so that we have full, accurate collection for our tipping fees. And then the other component is a reduction in the town's contribution in the E911 services. And that will be to a credit of $300,000 to positive for the town of Vinton. So just over $400,000 that the county is assisting us with this modification of the MOU. So quite substantial. And this is partly reason why we could negotiate a successful transfer of our utility system to the water authorities because of these additional assistance the county's providing. Jeremy, have anything to add?
There is the meet and confer obligation. The MOU's term would expire June 30, 2027, or the termination date is June 30, 2027 if either party gives a 2-year notice of termination, which would be June 30, 2025. The parties have agreed to meet in January of 2025 to begin the process of reviewing whether we need to make amendments to the agreement to extend beyond 2027. I know that was confusing, but there's an opportunity for the parties to sit down and discuss the status of the agreement and make any necessary changes.
Great. We're counting on you, Jeremy. So.
And that is a benefit for both the county and the town, so we can reassess our financial condition at that point, make some determinations, on some other aspects of the MOU. So it is protect us both and gives us both opportunity to re-engage with that agreement and have opportunity to negotiate an outcome that's successful for both sides before it expires. So it is a good window for us to reconnect regardless of kind of where we are today. It'll give us a chance to recalibrate in 2025.
Great. All right. Thank you, sir. Council, you have any questions or comments concerning this very important resolution?
I do.
Yes,
I think the comment that I would make would be the citizens of the town of Vinton that could say, well, how good is this MOU? And I think somebody that we just recognized, that we highly respect for years in government, said at the end, and congratulations to our town manager for negotiating all of this stuff with the town and making it, what it is today. And so I think that answers the question to me of how strong this MOU is and what it's truly done for the citizens of the town of Vinton.
I agree. Very well said. Anyone else?
I have to agree with Mike.
Yep.
Yep. And it's been a long time coming too, so.
Excuse me. Turn this up a little bit. I gotta get this micro up here, ain't working.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
We worked on this Pete worked on this a whole lot, and we discussed it for hours, and everything just like I said at the Water Authority meeting or the citizen thing, it was a Christmas package with a bow on it for us. The way it all this turned out. So.
Well, that's a good way to put it. It's we've really been blessed because it has taken a lot of work. Certainly, Jeremy and his folks have worked on it a lot. And as I often explain, by the time things get to this point where we are ready to vote on, there's been a lot of work done, and it seems to go through pretty quickly. And of course, Pete and his staff has worked very hard on this, as has the Roanoke County staff, So I think this is another great example of the partnership and the cooperation that exists between Roanoke County and the town of Vinton, and it's been very, very valuable for our citizens, and actually a good example of how local government should work. So I'm proud of both staff and both localities that we can work this closely together. And the other thing too, we were talking about how complicated this can be. In my opinion, this MOU kind of simplifies a lot of that. I don't know how many different agreements we had floating around out there, and this seems to, at least in my mind, to simplify.
To your point, Mr. Mayor, it does wrap up some of those other ancillary agreements and consolidate everything in one place.
Yeah, and I think that's really going to be valuable as we move ahead with other projects, and I'm sure there will be other projects. So this is a biggie, that's for sure. Any other questions, comments? If not, we will entertain a motion to approve the resolution as discussed.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution to execute the amendment to the MOU.
I'll second.
Jeremy, you've trained us well. All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Lyles, second by I believe it was the Vice Mayor, second by Vice Mayor McCarty. Susan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles?
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins?
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty?
Yes.
Mayor Gross?
Yes. So thank you, folks. Thank you for all the hard work. It's been great. Anything else, sir?
Just a couple of comments, if I may. Wanted to thank council for your time last Friday for the retreat. Hopefully you found that helpful and beneficial. Wanted to thank Ms. Johnson for her help to coordinate that date. Cody, thank you for your help in putting together, and also Ms. Cantrell. Still a little mad at Ann, but but I can't blame her. We'll have time at the next council meeting to appropriately thank her for her service to the town. We will certainly miss her, but just wanted to thank her for all she did to prepare the budget for last week, because the bulk of what we presented last week wasn't possible without her analysis and preparation. And while we thought we were building the budget a little early for maternity leave, it turned out to be fortuitous on two fronts. So happy we were able to get that together, and look forward to presenting another solid budget to you in the coming months, but that's substantially complete. And anyways, thanks for all the assistance, and even Chief Drummond for his extra commentary on Friday, and it sparked some thoughts on how we may change our format just a little bit next year and have some more department head involvement. While they were all in attendance, might have them participate a little more actively. But that's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. And with that, we'll move to the reports from the committees. And speaking of Ms. Cantrell, good to see you, Ann, once again. So you will be at one more meeting, is that correct?
One more, yes, that's
Okay.
right.
We'll recognize you properly.
Susan keeps reminding me. I keep thinking that this is it, and she says, "No, you got one more."
So
we'll just wear black again.
Now we
It'll
got to
be
wear
fine.
black again.
Yeah, we'll wear, I will remember next time. Okay.
So for the Finance Committee report, we met on February 7th, and the first thing we discussed was the December 31st financial statement. So I'll do a brief overview for you. The revenues in the general fund are still performing very highly. Actually, all of our funds are in very solid positions, but specifically outperforming our budget is real estate collections, personal property collections, communication, sales and use tax, BPOL or business license, vehicle license fee, pari-mutuel tax, admissions tax, meals tax, permits, fines and forfeitures, rental of property, additional refuse fees, charges for the War Memorial, recovered cost, and state sales tax. The ones underperforming are public service corp tax, franchise fees, bed tax, or from our hotel interest income, miscellaneous income, non-categorical aid, and other categorical aid. So smaller list there for underperforming, and then our ones outperforming are much outperforming those underperforming, if that makes sense. So we're in a very positive position. Cash on hand at the end of December was at $10 million. 4.7 million of that was restricted from the American Rescue Plan funding, and then we had investments of 3.3 million. So combined, it was 13.3 million between cash and investments at the end of December. So very positive position. And the utility fund is still performing well, and then we anticipate at the end having that cash transition. So we reviewed that we have about 2.7 million cash on hand currently in that fund. And then the next items that we reviewed were grant resolutions, and these will be public hearings at a future council meeting. They were above the 1% threshold, so we actually have to hold it for a public hearing. And there were two separate grants that Anita brought before us. And then we also reviewed the stormwater transfer resolution that was on the consent agenda tonight. And then probably the mayor's favorite part of the meeting is we discussed the debt schedule for next year. And I'm happy to report that when we take all of our outstanding debt balance and then we account for the debt reimbursements from Roanoke County and the Water Authority, next year our net outstanding debt would be 1.1 million.
Wow.
Or 1.2 million with rounding. And so we actually discussed at the council retreat refunding about half of that. And so potentially you could have $500,000, $600,000 remaining for net debt of the whole town.
Awesome. Awesome.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And that was our report. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have and respectfully submit the December financial report for your approval.
All right, Ann, thank you very much. Council, you have any questions, comments?
I mean, I'll just say that that's a good way to go out, Ann. I guess your work's done here.
You know what?
Perfect.
Bedford City's going, come on, come on, come on.
Yeah, I don't think it gets any better than that.
Yeah, yeah.
Mayor, you've been here quite a while. Has it ever been that good?
No, it's never even come close to this. And Ann mentioned the debt thing. I got to be honest, folks. I never dreamed that we'd be in this kind of financial condition. It's really been a blessing. It really has, no doubt about it. So, been a lot of hard work from finance and from staff, and we just been fortunate. So yeah, great report.
Is Levi old enough to work yet?
No, but you know, he was in the womb with accounting. He's really counting well, so I have faith he's going into accounting.
Send him our way when he
All
is.
right.
Yeah, right. Okay, if there are no questions or no other comments, we'll entertain a motion to accept the finance report, the great finance report as presented.
So moved.
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Stovall, second by Vice Mayor McCarty. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Thank you, Ann. And we'll see you one more time. All right, we'll move on to closing comments by council. Mr. Stovall, would you like to start this evening?
Oh, well, I'm just going to echo what the town manager said. I thought Friday was just absolutely great. I mean, I thought we had a good time, and, you know, most of all, we got a lot of great information, and, you know, this goes to show you how great the town is. And, you know, I actually, Patsy asked me when I got home how it was, and I said, yeah, I just thought it was great, you know, so, I mean, just to look at everything we've got, and when you start talking about retiring debt, and to me, the biggest thing I took out of it was that we don't have, you know, as we know, municipalities, families, businesses, a lot of times rely on one source of income. But, you know, we saw our revenue, I should say, excuse me. But, you know, in our case, we don't have that. And we have a lot going on, and a lot of people, a lot of buzz. And, you know, you heard tonight that, you know, which was a great comment. I like that comment that Dan O'Donnell said. He said his ultimate, or Elmer Hodge told him that his goal should be as a county administrator, when you had mature areas, to keep them mature. And so anyway, I thought Friday was great. Hats off to everybody. And thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good comments. Yes, ma'am.
I agree also. I mean, that's not as unusual as Mr. Lyles agreeing with you, but.
I got it in the minutes, so she's got it
yeah,
in the
okay,
minutes.
there you go. There you go. I don't know, I forgot to ask you guys earlier, we got some good news in email that we had talked about business license legislation in the General Assembly, and I got an email from Delegate Chris Head's legislative assistant saying it was tabled. So that's good news.
That's very good news. Yes.
So.
Very good. Thank you for that.
Good news, good news.
Vice Mayor?
Well, I thought tonight was Ann's last night, so I'm just excited that she's going to be.
Right.
She told me on Friday that it was going to be her last night, so I took her at her word. So maybe she'll just keep telling us she's going to leave. That might be good.
Maybe she just faked us out.
Yeah, that was a good
Great
fake,
point.
a good fake.
Yeah.
Just hats off to everybody, staff. I mean, it's so good to have people come in outside of Benton and say how well they like what we're doing here. So I've said it before, people are watching, and good things are happening. So I'm just honored to be on town council, to be a part of it. So.
Amen. Me too.
Yeah.
I agree. Sir?
Same with the retreat. I know all staff was involved with that, especially you two planning it. I think it was, you know, before we've done these all day, and I think this one was, the way it was organized and the topics, a lot of the visuals that you guys supplied to was great, but the best part was the chief. I mean, so I like your idea of getting, you know, maybe everybody can follow in the chief's footsteps next year, but if you did it all in 3 hours, and that was and you stayed in, well, one of the things we're gonna miss with Ann, because when that agenda said it was wrapping up at 2:30, wrapped up at 2:30.
Yeah.
Right on
That
the
has
money.
to be an interview question.
Just like that.
You wrap
right.
it up when we tell you to wrap it up.
Just like that budget. You know, we need her for about another 6 months and we'd be debt-free.
Yeah, at this rate,
So,
which we're practically there.
Merry Christmas to us again, huh?
but all in all, I think it was a really good retreat. You guys did a great job with that, and I left out of there with a good feeling of the future, and everything that every department with what their needs are looks like it'll all be taken care of. And so that's another plus for our town. A lot of towns have to pick and choose, and we're able to do that, what our departments need to stay efficient for our citizens. So great job to the whole town of Benton.
Yep. Good comments, and all of you've mentioned the council retreat, and I certainly want to reiterate too, I want to thank staff. You guys really came prepared, and that's the reason, like you said, we were able to do it in an afternoon. By the way, right here in council chambers, it just was really an efficient way to relay a lot of information to us. And I want to certainly want to thank staff, but I also want to thank council for their time. This is, we had 100% attendance, and this is a really important meeting. Staff often reminds me that they use these meetings to determine, you know, which way to go throughout the year. So very, very important. So thank you, staff, for not only taking the time, but for your input. I thought a lot of good discussion there, saying really a good meeting. So thank you guys for all that. As you mentioned, Vice Mayor, it's really a pleasure to serve the citizens of Benton. So Ann, we look forward to seeing you again next council meeting. We'll have parting remarks at that time. All right. Anything else to come before council meeting this evening? Wow, this is pretty close to a record.
Yeah.
Pretty close to a record.
I think it was a little less that one time.
Yeah.
Just Keith and I.
Yeah.
Trying to think about it.
We didn't have someone talking all the time.
Well, we won't go into that, will we? All right, well, thank you, folks. Anything further to come before council? If not, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor signify by leaving. Thank you, folks. God bless you.
There you go.